If you're new to the podcast community and you want to start a new podcast and you're looking for a platform that is user friendly, that has everything you need at your fingertips, that won't set any limits, that you can earn money, then I would recommend Anchor. Now, Anchor can be used basically anywhere. You could be in your car, you can be laying on the sofa in bed where you can edit, record, and upload. You can throw in soundtracks. Everything is there for you. Now, I use it because, it's user friendly and it is free, and I find it really easy to navigate without it being very confusing. Now, most platforms, before you can even try it out, you need to sign up and pick a plan. I like Anchor because I don't have to go through any of that. So I recommend it. Now, if you really want to get into it, I recommend you going to your website, anchor.fm, and, signing up. Or you can download anchor.fm from the Google Store, iTunes, and give it a try. So don't forget to go to anchor.fm, sign up, and I'll see you all in the podcast community. Howdy, and welcome back to another episode on Paranormal BuzzFeed. So, have you ever had those weird feelings? You go to a place and you just get those weird feelings, like something's not right, like somebody's watching you, like the place is just off. Well, that's what we're going to be discussing tonight. I've had a few encounters myself, and I'm going to share them with you. Every time I go to a place, I usually get a weird feeling. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of weird. It's I'll go. Okay, well, here's an example. I would go to my friend's house to pick her up when we would go out to eat. And every time I would walk by the back end of her house, I would get the creeps as if somebody was staring at me from the other side of the gate. But as soon as I walked to the front of the house, I didn't have that issue. There was a time we walked into a mutual friend, and we walked into her house, and she was walking up the sidewalk, and I just stood back. I was like, I'm not going there. Something's wrong with that place. I can't put my finger on it. I can't picture what it is, but something is wrong with that location. And the closer I got to the house, the stronger the feeling became. It's like I knew something was there. I just didn't know what it was. So, I walked in and I sat down on the sofa, and my friend sat across from me, and our friend sat across from her. And I was like, calm down, relax, take it easy, take a deep breath. There's nothing here. But my gut told me differently. My gut told me that there was something there. So we were, chit-chatting, we were talking, and the mutual friend, her cat was sitting on the coffee table, and all of a sudden, the cat literally was pushed off the coffee table. I turned and I looked at my friend and I go, nope, something's wrong with this place. I don't know what it is. There is something wrong with this place. So I asked my other friend, and friend was like, well, weird things happen, you get feeling that, you're tired a lot. You get tired, things go missing and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, what else? And they're all like, well, there's really nothing, it hasn't really done anything. They're like, okay, but what else has happened? Like, there has to happen. There must have been something. You guys had to have, like, done research or had an idea or gone and do stuff. And then she brings up the Ouija board. I was like, nope, no, sorry, don't even, no. I don't fuck with the Ouija board. I don't mess with the Ouija board. I don't want to be in the same area as a Ouija board. And then it's like she wanted to find out what was going on, but I guess she opened something and just let it stay there. Because I was like, did you even close the Ouija board? I mean, did you even close whatever you opened? What'd you do? She's, oh no, we burned the Ouija board after. I almost had a heart attack when she said that. I was like, are you freaking serious? I looked at my friend looked at me, and we both looked at her, and we're all like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Don't you know anything about this shit? One, you don't mess with it because you don't know what's on the other side, and you don't know what you can bring in. But again, she wanted to dabble and see what was there, and she learned the hard way. And I was like, no, I was like, no. I don't want this following me. And as we were leaving, I was like, nope, you stay here. Do not follow me. I don't need you where I live. I don't need any of this. Stay here. Do not follow. There are other places that I've been to where just the energy the location gives you is enough to change your mood, manipulate your mood. I remember I went to a place up in Northern California, and my mood was affected by this location. This location used to hold a lot of Native Americans that lived on the land. And just the energy, I mean, I didn't feel it, till I got out of the car. As soon as I stepped foot on the ground is when I felt it. The energy it was radiating so much energy, and it wasn't don't know how to describe it. Kind of made me think, like, what the hell happened here? And mind you, I never did any research. I just took a drive up the coast and pulled over to look at some stuff. And as soon as I got out of the car is when it hit me, and I was like, ooh, yeah, this is interesting. It wasn't negative energy, it wasn't bad energy. It was more of sad energy, more of despair, depression. And it didn't freak me out. It didn't, like, made me want to go away. It just lingered. So as I was going through, walking around and looking at different stuff, it made me feel lost. Now, kind of hard to describe it, but it made me feel like I lost something, like something that belonged to me is no longer with me, and it was a very, very hard trip, because the more I walked around, the more I touched things, the more I observed things, the more I felt, the stronger the feeling got. And I finally had to kind of disconnect. So I had walked back to my car, got into my car, and I was jumping back onto the freeway to go to my next spot, and it still lingered. Like, I'm in my car, so I shouldn't feel anything, but I felt it. The feeling got stronger and stronger and stronger. So I made it all the way up to Ventura, and I was like, okay, I need to pull over. I need to try to figure this out. I need to figure out what this is. So I'm walking up, a street, and something had drawn me to this location. Now, this location I wouldn't walk into. Not even if you paid me $1 million, I would not walk into this location. Just because of what it is. Now, I looked at the location and I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna go in there. It's like, no, just looking at it made me not want to be there. So I paid my ticket for the tour and I walked in. Now, I all of a sudden got a lot of anxiety. I was having panic attacks like there was no tomorrow. Like, I was crying, which I shouldn't be crying. Almost like I was going through some freaking traumatic experience. I tried to disconnect from the location. Like, I tried to bubble myself up and not connect with it, but that didn't work because things were still there. And it was very interesting. The further I got toward the cemetery, the stronger the anxiety was, the stronger my panic attacks were. I had to go through this building. Like, I had to go through a room, and that would like lead to the cemetery. And there was a lot of artifacts. There's a lot of mementos from a certain time period. And walking into that room gave me terror. I was petrified. I was so scared that I looked and I was like, hell no. There's no way I can do this. I can't do this. It's like something was telling me to run. I don't know what it was, but I was like scared shitless. But I had to get to the cemetery because something was calling me in the cemetery. And just the room itself, the mannequins that were dressed, the artifacts, the reading the stories that they had, just scared the hell out of me. And I couldn't figure out why for the longest time. So I go through the room, and I try to take these pictures, but I was just too fucking scared to even remotely take any pictures. I go through and I make it to the exit where it leads to the small cemetery that's attached to that section of the building. Now, typically cemeteries don't freak me out, but this cemetery did. I don't know if it was the layout. I don't know who was buried there. It just scared me. This whole location scared me. And I was like petrified. And like you had to exit the other end to like leave the area, like to leave the building. You would have to, it's like a maze, walk out when you exit through the cemetery. And I was scared. You know, like I tried to go around looking at headstones and just trying to see what was there, see who was there. A lot of the names were worn off, so I really couldn't tell, you know, who was buried there and who wasn't. But it scared me so much that I made a quick exit. I literally ran for the exit. As soon as I made it to my car, I stepped foot onto the street, all those feelings went away. I get in my car and I'm like trembling, I'm shaking, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, what happened. So I jumped onto my cell phone at that time and I googled the area, and again, it's the Native Americans that lived on there. A lot of these were Spanish people, and I must have been picking up on residual energy of some people that have died there. That's the only thing I can come up with. I must have been really so in tune with what was going on in the area that I felt everything. I mean, I felt the anxiety, I felt the panic attacks, I felt scared, I felt terrified, I felt like I was in danger. And there aren't locations like that out there. So for me to feel that is is a bit interesting. So I turn my car on. I leave. I get on the freeway to go back home. And as I'm coming home, I get I end up getting some residual energy from the locations I was at, and it's interesting to feel what you feel when you go to a new location. But sometimes you feel residual energy from what happened there. Like, I felt the emotions. It's like I didn't want to be in the room. I didn't want to be there. I didn't even want to look at certain things because it felt as if I would experience whatever happened there. There was another time where I was going to a location that meeting a friend, and he was very adamant that there was something weird at this place. And yeah, I agree. I could not get out of my car. I texted him. I'm like, hey, I'm outside. Well, come on in. I go, nope, can't. I can't. And I'm like, this location is giving me some weird vibes and it's kind of scary and I don't want to deal with it. And they're like, dude, there's nothing here. I go, yeah, there is, because I'm feeling it. And not everybody's affected by stuff like that. It just seems that when I go to certain places, or when I go to a place, I just pick it up. And sometimes I can walk into a place and feel fine, and then all of a sudden whatever's there, or whatever energy happens to be there, will creep in, and I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, no. And I have to leave. Like, I can't stay there. I have to go. And that's what happened when I went to see my friend. I went to the barbecue, and I was in the backyard for a while, and I couldn't do it. I go, I gotta go. They're like, why? I didn't even stay to eat, and I drove a good hour and a half to this barbecue, and I didn't even eat because of what I was feeling. It was just this weird feeling on the property. Like, his backyard was creepy. It looked like a typical backyard, but it felt creepy. Like something is there that's not supposed to be there. I don't know how to describe it. I was like so nervous. I was like, I couldn't sit still. I was very fidgety. I was walking around. People were looking at me like, girl, calm down. And he looked at me and he's like, you're not comfortable. I go, it's not that I'm not comfortable. It's just there's something here that's freaking me out and I don't know what it is. But again, as soon as I leave the property, I cross the street to get into my car, I'm fine. And it's stuff like that that makes me wonder how many other people out there get those feelings. Do you feel energies when you go to somebody's house, when you go to a building, when you go to work? Because I get the energies when I go to work. I just it's not that I don't want to be at work. It's something about the building just doesn't. It's weird. How many of you get those types of feelings where you go to a location, or you go to your friend's house, or you go to a new, you go somewhere and you just feel off, like the building is off, like the place is something's different with the building, the air is different, energy is different. How many of you actually experience something like that? Because I experience it all the time, And when I was apartment hunting, certain apartments were just, nope. It had everything I wanted. But the energy, nope, not today. And I wouldn't go for it. I've had friends' houses that I won't step foot in ever because something is off with the house. The energy is off. It's this weird thing. And I know lots of people experience it. And some people will go, hey, it's just a hunch. It's just whatever. But I'm curious as to how many people out there have experienced it. Let me know if you experienced anything like I have. Leave it below in your comment. Don't forget to follow us on Insta and Twitter. If you want to drop your story via email, you can find us at paranormalbuzzfeed@gmail.com. Make sure you like and click subscribe and share this share our podcast with other people. And if you're new, welcome to the Paranormal BuzzFeed. And if you are a follower, thank you for following. And stay tuned for another episode during the week. And I will talk to you guys all later on. So don't forget, keep it ghosting. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.